Konnichiwa, Nihon Cricket Pod Yokoso. Welcome to the Japan Cricket Podcast. I'm Alan Kerr, and with me, as always, Todd Luckhurst from Melbourne. Hi, Todd. How are you?
Good, Alan. Nice over here, nice weather, and it looks nice and hot over there in Oman still. I'm tipping you've had no respite from the heat.
Every day is identical. I saw a cloud yesterday. One, just one cloud. Um, yeah, it's odd. It's sun's up pretty early. Um, Sunsets around 6, I reckon. Yeah, around 6-ish. And it's a steady sort of 33, 34 degrees, dry heat. Um, but yeah, it makes it very predictable. We haven't had to worry about games getting washed out as yet. Although earlier in the tour, we did have to cancel a prospective boat ride on our rest day because there was a typhoon in the Gulf, which never got this far, but it was enough to get the waves going. So thankfully, we made up for that yesterday. And about 12 of us managed to get out on a boat, so that was good fun.
Beautiful. Of course, played night game the other night. Was it? I was just interested in the conditions. Any dew in the second innings, or was it
Yeah,
quite dry still?
good question. So we played the night. Of course, we played Samoa in the night game. Our first game here back on the 3rd of October, which feels like a really long time ago. So a full sort of 10 days ago. And back then, the dew wasn't that bad. And actually, we were speaking to the Papua New Guinea boys who've been in our hotel, and they played 3 of their 4 games at night. Their first game was in the daytime, then they played 3 night games in a row. And they were telling us that it had got significantly worse as the week had gone on because the temperatures dropped a little bit, therefore the dew comes up a bit faster. And by the second innings, you could run your hand across the grass and your hand would be like running under a tap. Um,
Wow.
so there is a significant, well, it feels like there's a significant advantage to batting seconds in the night games. We don't have any more night games now. So that was just our one and only in the tournament proper. So now we go morning, afternoon, morning. So morning 10 a.m. tomorrow, 2:30 the next day. So that's not too bad of a turnaround. But then it's a really short turnaround for that final game. So 2:30 means we don't finish the game until 5:30. We probably don't get back to the hotel until 8. And then we're leaving the hotel at 7:30 the next morning. So this morning I've been having conversations with the guys at the hotel about how we're going to get all our clothes washed in time. So
Hmm.
yeah, challenges there, but those are the logistical joys of being on tour.
But to say those are the challenges of being on tour. Well, of course, we'll have a look at the here to review the game the other night between Japan and Samoa. So we'll have a look at the scorecard, and Alan will talk us through what happened in the game. I only saw the end of the game, but Alan was there, of course. So we had Japan batting first, got to 162 for six. We had Kendall Kadawaki Fleming 35 off 31, once again getting it done with the bat. 4 fours, 1 6. Abhishek Anand, 55 off 42. Got going again. 3 4s, 4 6s. Sabo Trandran, 12 off 9. Isam Rahman, 10 off 11. Ibi Takahashi, once again, coming in with the bat, getting 30 off 14. 1 4 and 4 6s. Great effort. Then Ito Davis got a golden. Rayo Sakurana Thomas, 10 off 9. And Declan Suzuki, 1 off 3 balls. Alan got us to 162 for 6.
Yeah, there's a bit going on in that innings. So yeah, steady opening partnership again. It's been a real feature of the team's displays so far in this tournament. An opening partnership that's actually putting on sort of 50-60 for the first wicket almost every game is helping us to get some momentum going from the start and being able to cash in on the power play. Abhishek Anand hit his first 2 balls for 4, which was a great way to start. And Kendall's ticking over nicely. So I think the first couple of overs, perhaps from memory, were a little bit slower, and then we kind of got going again. And yeah, there was one. I mean, you mentioned Sabarish, 12 off 9. I think he scored. He got one boundary with a little lap off the spinner, and it ran really slowly towards the boundary rope. And one of the Samoan players, fairly big guys, all of them, tearing after it as fast as he can, full length dive, doesn't get the ball, but goes head first into the steel advertising boards,
Oh,
which was yeah pretty tough on him, and he ended up being a replacement. He was replaced as a concussion replacement. So that was the first time I've had to fill out one of those concussion forms. He was feeling a bit groggy after that. So that was the first injury of the night. Um, But yeah, I mean, the highlight of the innings certainly was Ibi Takahashi. I mean, the shots that he played, they they weren't small sixes. They went a long way. He really got hold of them, and yeah, that's twice now in important games that he's played sort of defining innings. Just really injected a bit of life into things just as we needed it. So yeah, really pleased for Ibi. He's going well.
He's going very well. One thing I've noticed is the some big sixes being hit at the ground. Like the ground doesn't look small. Like it's looks quite big, but there's been some big hitting. Ball seems
I
to travel a long way.
I would agree. I've noticed that as well. All the teams, there's been huge sixes, lost balls. Like all the games seem to be a little bit over time. So the way it works is we get a 20-minute interval, but if you're over time, that comes out of the interval. So some of our games have been, 10 or 12-minute turnarounds. And but there haven't been any sanctionings in terms of having to bring fielders in for being behind. So I think that's all just losing time through lost balls mainly. And there are a lot of wickets going down in most of the games, so they're just being a bit generous with that. So yeah, it's I don't know, maybe it's just the bats, maybe guys have got stronger, maybe it's just the fact that we're playing at a slightly higher level now. But yeah, some balls are going a long way, which is great. Makes you're not seeing too many just plop over the boundary there. When they're going miles.
No, they definitely are. And I know that one of the games, the commentators mentioned that the ground is at a bit of altitude there with the mountains, so maybe that's got something to do with the balls traveling. But some big sixes from what I've seen.
Yeah, I
We
don't
move on
think we're
to. They mentioned it. I mean, they're probably not commentating from there. Probably, who
no,
knows?
they are
I don't
here.
know how
They
these
are here.
things
They're
work
on the
out. They're
screen.
there. Okay, okay,
There are
fair
mountains
enough.
here, but they're in the distance. We're pretty much at sea level, I think.
Okay, okay, interesting, interesting. I'll move on to the Samoa innings. So Samoa were chasing 163 for victory and managed to get to 158 for seven. Go through the bowling overs, bowling figures. Araya Sakura and Thomas 1 over, none for two. Charlie Hatter-Hines 4 overs, 2 for 22. Ibi Takahashi 3 overs, 1 for 22. Sabash Ravichandran 1.3 overs, none for 15. He got injured there with a split webbing. Alan will touch on that shortly. Isam Rahman 2 overs, none for 36. Ben Ito Davis 3 overs, none for 22. Declan Suzuki is becoming a bit of the man with the ball at the moment in the death. 3.3 overs, 3 for 29. And Shomar Sagaya Slater 2 overs, 1 for 8.
Yeah, a bit of drama in that second innings. So again, slow start from the Samoans. They I think they were like five off the first two overs, but we were very aware that their openers were the danger men. Visser and Soler are good players. They've scored plenty of runs in T20 cricket and in grade cricket in Australia and New Zealand respectively. So we knew that was a partnership we had to break, and I think they got to about 70 without loss inside like 8 or 9 overs, and things were a bit concerning at that point. You mentioned Sabarish, yeah. So in his second over, the second ball of his second over, he fields one off his own bowling, and he looked sore straight away, but he didn't really know something. He's obviously got the adrenaline going. He's in the battle. He bowls another ball, which then gets hit for six, and then he realizes that there's blood pouring out of his hand. So he came off, and we were able to sort of he was getting patched up on the sidelines. We were able to watch sort of the next couple of overs, and of course the breakthrough came in that over. So Declan Suzuki came on to finish the over for him, and actually got the breakthrough catch on the mid wicket boundary, I think it was. And then just we had to put Sabarish into the paramedics ambulance, and I had to jump in with him and go off to hospital. So I was just as we were leaving, we got the second wicket, so we got Visser and Soler out. So just as we were getting in the ambulance, Sabarish and I got feel a little bit better, leaving that they were two down on the 10 over mark. I can't remember quite how many they had on the board, probably about 80 odd at that stage, and we felt a little bit more comfortable. But then Sabarish and I couldn't get the live stream running from the ambulance, so I'm just watching it on the live ball by ball updates on the ICC website, which is a bit of a flashback to following cricket in the 90s, the days before satellite TV, and watching everything on CFAX. So yeah, pretty high drama for the rest of the innings. We'd got to a point after those two wickets where we squeezed them pretty tightly to the point where they needed 42 off 18. And we'd got what we thought were all the danger men out. Ross Taylor was still there. He'd hit one big six, but he was still just ticking over a runner ball, which is kind of what he's been doing all tournament, sort of making runner ball 20s. And some guy came in who we didn't really know anything about. TI came in and he hit what 34 off 17, and he took 26 runs off the 18th over. So suddenly it was 16 needed off 12. And at that point, I think we went from being convinced that the game was in the bag to convinced it was gone. And of course, it's a tough situation, in this tournament. Every game is so cutthroat. Every game is, if you lose it, you're basically done. It is mathematically possible, I think, to go through on 4 points, but you'd have to say it's extremely unlikely, and you need a lot of things to go your way. So had we lost that game, we would have been left feeling, 3 more games to go with, tough ask to try and get to 6 points. But in the end, Declan Suzuki bowled the 19th over and managed to knock over Ross Taylor in that over and just went for 7 runs. And then Shoma Sugaya Slater took the last. Pretty impressive stuff from a 19-year-old. Asked to defend 9 off the final over, and did it pretty comfortably. Didn't concede a boundary, took a wicket. Got a little bit excited on the penultimate ball and decided to try and throw down the stumps. That ball could have ricocheted and gone anywhere. But thankfully it didn't. He's convinced it was out, but has acknowledged that perhaps he should hold on to the ball next time. And yeah, by all accounts, the boys were extremely pumped when they got over the line with 4 runs to spare. So really good contest. And if you haven't seen it, the ICC and the JCA Instagram account has put up a video of the final over, which has got about 6 million views already, which is pretty cool. So social media is doing the job for us on this tour, just as the players are.
Yeah, with a great result. Don't know what Sagai Slade was thinking when as soon as he wound up to throw the ball, thought, oh, it's going to be 4 byes here, or 3
He
leg
threw
byes,
it
or whatever it's
hard,
going to be. And
stumps
he
out
threw
the
the stumps
ground.
down all right. I was worried about a ricochet going before he threw the ball that hard, but he smashed the middle stump out of the ground. But
I
geez, over
spoke
was
to
fantastic.
I spoke to Rayo Sakurano when we didn't get myself and Sabara didn't get back to the hotel until 1 a.m. and a lot of the boys were still up, adrenaline's buzzing, and kind of bumped into them in the lobby. And Ray was saying he was having flashbacks to the 2019 World Cup final and balls hitting, ricocheting off to the boundary, and he was like, "Oh, geez, this is a bit much." But there was some good catching under the high balls again. I think Charlie, Rayo, Kendall, Shoma all took good catches. Yeah, our fielding has definitely been a feature. I don't know if you've seen any of the Nepal games. I mean, that was obviously a pretty heart-stopping game for Japan, but Nepal have been doing their usual stuff. And in the game before us, they won by one run, and were affecting run-outs and taking catches. And watching those guys in the field is definitely something to aspire to. And I think we're not a million miles off them. I think us and Nepal are very clearly the best fielding teams here. And in their game yesterday against Kuwait, against Qatar, they had 2 direct hit run outs in consecutive deliveries to turn the game around that they were losing. So yeah, the fielding there's been some highlights in the fielding in this tournament in general.
Yeah, it's been great viewing. Every game's been quite exciting and things happening, so it's been great to watch from afar. I'll just run through the points table as it stands at the moment. So we've got Oman are 3 from 3, they're on 6 points. Nepal also 3 from 3, they're on 6 points. Then we've got UAE played 3 games, they've won 1 game, they're on 2 points. Japan 1 win, 1 loss, 2 points. Samoa 2 games, 2 losses, 0 points. And Qatar, I'm a bit surprised that they haven't won a game. They're 3 games, 3 losses, 0 points. So that 3rd spot is definitely still up for grabs, Alan.
Very much is, and that's sort of what we're looking at. I mean, we kind of expected it to be UAE and Oman. So UAE and Nepal sort of running away with the first 2 spots. So UAE have had a pretty disappointing time. They've carried points through from their win over Qatar in the group stage, but then they've gone down to both Nepal, as I said, by 1 run, and a pretty surprising loss to Oman. So they're under the pump now. They play Samoa next, and then their final game is against us. So they would still expect themselves to get to 6 points. For us, we're in a position now where, if we if we beat Qatar and if we beat UAE, then we're basically there. 6 points, I think, would be enough to get us through. But if we were to lose to either of those teams, or any of those teams, then it's going to become pretty difficult. There is still a scenario where I think 4 teams could end up on 4 points, and it would come down to net run rate. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But that is a possibility, or maybe 3 teams with 4 points or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, it's a rest day today, so no cricket being played. But we're first up tomorrow, and hopefully we can get the result we want against Qatar. It was an interesting performance from them yesterday. They were chasing 100. Well, what they're chasing 130, I think, against 140 against Nepal, and they were 100 for none or something. Like, they're both openers made half centuries, and then they just fell in a heap. So they'll be pretty disappointed. And there's a good possibility that they'll be feeling pretty low by the time it comes around the game tomorrow. And likewise, when we play Oman, they've probably already got their place booked. So, opportunities. And for us, the boys are all very positive about what we've got coming up. And they're extremely hopeful that we can, knock over a couple of teams that are ranked certainly higher than us, and give ourselves every chance of making it to a World Cup.
Yes, indeed. Very much alive in the tournament still. Very exciting for everyone watching on, and very exciting for the team. And I know that everyone appreciates the support from everyone all around the world who keep, watching the games and getting on the socials and following the boys. And I know they appreciate the support. So everyone keep getting around them, and hopefully we can knock off Qatar tomorrow and then move on to the UAE game.
Yeah, it's about a 30-minute drive from the ground back to the hotel. So normally once the game's done, guys are in ice baths, and they get hold of their phones. And normally when they turn on their phone, it's the first thing is they're going through messages from friends, family, whatever. And then we'll have a bite to eat. And then by the time we're on the bus, that's sort of when everyone starts getting onto the social media. So yeah, the comments that come in are welcome. They're appreciated. The support is fantastic. And yeah, thank you to all those who have sent messages of support through the various social platforms.
Beautiful. Looking at next pod, we might do a review maybe on Saturday in the final games. It's probably
Yeah,
a bit hard for
Saturday or
Alan with
Sunday.
might be a bit hard for Alan with the back-to-back games. So might do one live from I'll be in Japan on
Oh,
Friday.
yes, you
So
will. Of course you will.
we might be able to do one from the SICG. Of course, Saturday we have the Japan Cup finals kicking off, Alan.
You do, yeah. Good luck with that, Todd. That's going to be a busy week for you. I know Dougal missed out on the boat trip yesterday because he's desperately trying to get everything together for that. So yeah, we had the domestic semi-finals were hit by rain last weekend as well. The Japan Cricket League semi-finals. So trying to rearrange some of those games as well. I've had an email this morning to try and find some umpires again. It's all part of the fun. But yeah, plenty of cricket coming up, and the Embassy Cup just less than 2 weeks away as well. So plenty happening in Japan cricket. And I'm hoping actually
Most
that
definitely.
I might even get dates for the ACC Premier Cup soon. I have had a message on WhatsApp this morning. What does it say? Tentative dates, middle of November. So yeah, less than a month away, giving us tentative dates. So that's good. Fingers crossed, under 19 boys will be on a plane soon.
Nothing like a late notification 1 month later.
Yeah, this is a record. We haven't actually had any official communication yet, in terms of a group email, and the tournament was supposed to be in October. So yeah, less said about that, the better, I think.
I agree.
Well, thanks for your time, Todd. Great to see you. Great to catch up. We'll try and catch up again on after these matches are done. And I'll see you in
Cheers.
person
Thanks, Alan.
in a few days. In the meantime, for
We
everyone
will.
else, Todd Scary Summer Deshta.